Always trying to get ahead.
Well,
How's it
going?
going?
I'm Mehdi.
Mehdi,
Trying to get
great
back
to
with
meet you.
ours.
My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Ooh. Overall, yes.
Do you believe that that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by erode?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process?
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States has drastically changed.
Yes.
And the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the country. Let's say it wants to give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics. And there's
what is the... I do want to talk about immigration today.
I hope we talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get to immigration.
Yes, sir.
I've saved it. I've saved it
White
for you.
genocide.
But given
Who the
we're on
fuck
the
is that
sense of the
guy with the
Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants?
Did he
in
was
this
here the
country?
whole time?
What proportion of the population is foreign born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
But what is currently the best estimate of official
I think it was about 15%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So
but
we have
15% of the people are going to change the country, change the Constitution. How's that going to work? It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the Constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the Constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know, last time we had a constitutional amendment,
you know
like
what?
20, 30 years ago.
I understand, which is
it was
why
on, I think members of Congress pay.
Which is
like,
why
it's
no, I get it.
So where are you getting this scenario where 350 odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants? Yeah. And then abandons the Constitution and gives the country back to Mexico. Outside of your imagination, where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did is you entertained my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when
because you missed out the part where the Constitution is quite hard to change.
Hold on. I understand that. I gave you.
I also wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's a very liberal idea.
I don't debate fascists. I'll talk to them,
and
but I won't debate them.
Frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we value freedom of speech so much, but any real journalist is not going to talk to somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the guy in front of you. What are you talking about?
You literally stopped talking to him, and then everybody had to vote him out.
Debating versus talking is very different. Okay. It's pointless.
Okay,
he doesn't believe in free speech. Okay. He doesn't believe in democracy.
He was freely speaking with you. You're the one who shut up.
No, he said very clearly.
Okay.
He said, I support free speech so that I can get one election. After one election, my guy comes in. And after my guy comes in, nobody gets to speak or vote again.
We all listen to your
Why would I debate that?
We listen to your conversation.
Well, I'm reminding you what it was said because you just misrepresented.
Let's bring it back to the Constitution.
Please do. First, fourth, fifth, 14th Amendments. Those are the ones I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you support that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very core of American Constitution.
And
Fifth Amendment.
And what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show you.
Is Trump defying the Constitution? That's my claim. You can have these weird hypotheticals.
We're taking it into a different meta, which is, what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did.
Yeah,
literally just 5 minutes ago when you took it to immigration.
Now I don't want to.
Okay. Let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the first, the fourth, the fifth, and the 14th Amendments and the 22nd Amendments.
Look,
either you say, hold on, you got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
Tarea 1. María está en la biblioteca. ¿Dónde está María?
And that's why I say goodbye to language.
So there's two options ahead of you. Do you agree?
This is important.
Do you agree? Okay, let me ask a question.
This is what you're talking about.
You're not answering the basic point.
Well,
do you think Donald Trump is dismantling the Constitution? Can we agree that Donald Trump is dismantling? Because I'll agree with you on that. I think he is dismantling the Constitution.
I think he's
illegally, unconstitutionally.
I think he's interpreting it in ways that are more.
Which judges do not agree with him on.
Okay,
which the Supreme Court has not agreed with him on.
And the judges don't agree with the people who wrote the Constitution.
How do you know that?
Okay, let's take your example of the Second Amendment. Let's say that a bunch of judges...
I didn't give the Second Amendment.
No, hold on.
Fourth, you don't want to talk about the ones I've given.
You're interrupting me.
You're ignoring me. First, fourth, fifth, 14th, 22nd Amendments. Those are my amendments that I came with today. If you don't want to debate them, just say so.
I'm trying to understand your ideology.
So.
You believe that dismantling the Constitution is okay when it's about parts of the Constitution that you disagree with.
Amendments.
You would be fine getting rid of the Second Amendment, even though that would be a dismantling of the Constitution.
No, because it would be done via constitutional means. I'm not the one sitting here like your pal.
Okay, you have agreed. You have agreed the Constitution.
Saying you just get rid of them willy-nilly.
I don't agree. We're wrapping up.
I don't agree that Joe Biden should come in and say by executive order, if Joe Biden put out executive order saying Second Amendment no longer applies, I can round up everyone's guns. I don't agree with that.
Your result is exactly the same.
I don't agree with them. No, but I don't agree with the method of doing it. It's unconstitutional.
That's fine.
He would have been defying the Constitution, and I would have said so, but you can't bring yourself to say so. We've been sitting here for several minutes. All of your friends have seen me ask you several times, do you agree that Donald Trump is defying the 1st, 4th, 5th, 14th, and possibly 22nd Amendments? Your colleague at least admitted that he's defying the First Amendment.
I understand that you came in here. What you are attempting to do is simply frame this conversation like you did with the first claim about Donald Trump. But then when anybody asks you any kind of question that presses you to the least degree,
I answered. I said I would dismantle the Constitution, but I would do it constitutionally, not by executive order.
So what I'm trying to get to is to prove to everybody who's watching that what you care about is not the Constitution in what it represents or creates. You care about the Constitution only insofar as it allows you to achieve your political worldview. We agree on that.
No, I care about the Constitution.
You agree with the
because I don't think presidents should be fascist dictators and violate the Constitution. That's what I'm saying.
You care,
and he is different. I don't think the president should have the power to lock you and me up if we write an op-ed that he doesn't like. I don't think the president should be able to crack down on us if you and I decide to go protest outside his parade. I don't think the president should be able to deprive you and I of due process or come into our homes without a warrant.
And I think,
well, let's end an agreement then.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I'm glad
it's good to meet you. It's good to
meet you, Kai.
Can I just say, I'm tired of that haircut.
Oh my God.
How long is this thing gonna be around? Like, there was a time when it was cool. And I was in like high school, the white boys would wear the cut. I was like, you know what? It's cool. I get it. Girls like it. You kind of look like a little bit like a girl, but it's still kind of tough if you can smoke also with that haircut. A little shorter than Kai's. Kai's wearing it a little too long. But there was a time when that was okay. And it was a thing. And you could wear a leather jacket with it and be fucking kind of, you know what I mean? You could be doing a thing. But now, it's been going on way too long. You're buttoning your shirt up to the top. You're wearing fucking khakis. It's brushing across your face. It's become an entirely different message. And I don't know if Kai knows that. I don't know if he knows.
Oh, Kai knows that. He's a white replacement guy, and he's actually a what's called a groyper.
He's a poor replacement for whites, is what he is. Because there was a time when white boys were cool. And this is not what Kai represents anymore. And he's using a lot of the devices that were once true to white coolness. I just wanted to make that point. I'm sorry, you can continue
you're good.
Constitutional discussions.
I'll be right back. I drink coffee. I'll be right back.
He's having a tequila.
Yes.
Well, if I'm going to be sat here alone, I think I must say I am disappointed in the type of whiteness I'm confronted with, debater after debater after debater, because I would like a more 80s kind of dopey, irreverent kind of Judd Nelson and Breakfast Club kind of dickhead whiteness that I could respect. You know what I mean? Give me even Emilio Estevez. Give me the jock who's just like completely brainwashed, trained to win and wants America to win, and he can't understand how anything short of full American dominance globally could be accepted. I want these kind of white people. That is what I'm saying. They don't have to like me, but I kind of like them. That's not what we're getting, and this is incredibly disappointing. That's probably my real objection to all of this. These are not the racists I grew up with. And it's sad.
Well, that guy is Kai is a groyper, is a member of the group that's around Nick Fuentes, who's like an open Nazi. Like when Elon Musk threw up his Sieg Heil, Nick Fuentes was like, yeah, that was like a Hitler-loving, with gusto Sieg Heil. Like he was very excited by it. That's who these guys are. And you could see it. Kai had the same kind of demeanor as Connor. It's very aggressive, and you get the sense that he'd rather reach across the table and smack Mehdi rather than argue with him. And there's not even a good faith debater. He tried to just reframe it into this whole other thing, as opposed to dealing with the premise, with the claim.
Yeah, and sometimes, including Kai, there is an undergirding question that I think is valid, not unlike why we're so attached to this Constitution. His original point, which he could have explored if he'd not been so sidetracked with fucking nonsense, was, can you erode the original intent through amendments? Well, yes. Yes, actually you can. And the question is not whether you can or you can't, because of course it's not, what's that? Is it Ulysses ship? What is it? The ship, you can continue to change the boards, the wood panels on a ship until every wood panel is different than the original one. But is it still the same ship at that point? Have you know what I mean? Someone will have to help me with what the name of that ship is, or that same, but that's the principle, right? Well, yeah, you can reshape the Constitution through amendments and make it mean something different than what the original framers had in mind. And I don't think that that's a debate. Yes, you can do that. The question is, should you be able to do that? And I think the answer is yes, because the point of being able to change the document to fit the society in which you live or would like to live is that this document is just a starting point. If you're not looking at it as like a religious doctrine or something that is omnipotently correct, then it should be constantly morphing. You should be taking away and adding to it as necessary as your intelligence, your technology, your society, as everything grows and evolves for the better, so should the document that regulates the society that you're in. So that is a great conversation to have that I wish these two might have gotten to actually discuss.
But they can't, because the thing I'll say about Connor is at least he's honest. Kai tries to come across like the reasonable Nazi. And it all comes down to what he said about, well, you want the Constitution, you want to change it or preserve it in order to get your political gains. And that's actually what he wants. And the thing that he's worried about is the study that says, I think in 2040, the country is going to be no longer majority white. And that's what they're worried about. That's what all the whole let's have more white babies thing comes from. The thing I talked about, the 14 words is all about, we got to do what it takes to preserve white society. I know that's not 14 words, but that's paraphrasing it. That's where all that comes from. So like what Kai is worried about is a world in which white people don't have the same power dynamics that they have now. That's really his argument. And that's really, at least Connor was like straight up kind of about it. They're not using the word white or white power, but these are white power guys. And that's what they're concerned with.
And they believe that the Constitution provides them that very amount of leverage. So if
that's why they don't like the 14th Amendment. Yeah.
And so if society is changing and the Constitution isn't stopping society from changing, then that is where the Constitution either needs to be changed or you need to revert back to its original intent so that that leverage for white society, specifically white landowning men, does not get eroded. That's the erosion he's worried about.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because
exactly
right. If it's that, then the word erosion makes sense. If it's not that, then it's just evolution and growth and I guess progression, which is also a dirty word. You're changing with the times to accommodate the reality in which you live, and the reality in which they live, they see as changing, and they don't want to accommodate that. They want to revert it.
Yeah, they're not progressive, or they're not, conservatives. They're regressives. If you're anti-progress, you either want to stand still or you want to go backwards. That's why
if you're anti-progress, you're Congress.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, like you were saying, that maybe the system isn't working is like, like they're arguing right now about whether or not Congress should be able to trade stocks using, they don't say this, but the parenthetical with inside information, as we saw with Trump affecting markets with the tariffs. Nancy Pelosi and others. She's kind of the figurehead, but many people are dumping stocks, MTG among them, or picking up stocks as different things get regulated. And they absolutely shouldn't be able to do that. It's a public service to serve in government. And it shouldn't be a grift. There's a lot of loopholes that I would change. And so, yeah, maybe the document gets so big it's unwieldy. But I believe in the country's ability to change. I mean, the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act.
The necessity of the country to change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to try things out. That's these guys, like the suffrage movement, or the prohibition movement, comes out of kind of theocratic ideas that drinking was a problem, and we needed to become teetotalers. And I think the drug war and prohibition both show that, like, prohibition of drugs, people are going to get high one way or the other. They're going to do something to alter their reality. It's in our nature. It's why psychoactives are naturally occurring substances. They're there for us to do that with. And we're just going to do it. And so we rescinded that. It was the 18th Amendment, right? And then we got rid of it. It should be a more malleable thing. I do like the idea that it is hard, because then, the country won't be swinging back and forth so fast. But it is slightly unwieldy. I'm not saying get rid of it, but this religious adherence to it, like you said, is problematic. But even originalists don't even hear their own doctrine. That's all bullshit. It's all white power.
Right. It's all finding ways to justify a white power movement.
Basically, yeah.